Oh, I see people. Is this the same person or is it different people? Oh, it looks like different people. Okay. See another person. Okay. Yeah, so we are, you guys, I don't know how interesting you'll find this, but you probably know it if you don't know it. We're on the continent of Zendrik. Zendrik is an unexplored, gigantic continent. It is a jungle. There's all sorts of different environments, deserts, beaches, mountains, woods, but it's uninhabited. It was inhabited thousands of years ago by giants, but the giants are all dead. Thousands of years ago, Eberron was invaded by these aliens called the Quarry, and they're actually, some of them are still around. The realm that they came from was the realm of dreams. That was severed from contact by a cataclysmic event that was brought about by the giants using sort of like an illegal dragon blood magic. So the blood magic, they basically had to destroy a moon in order to get this to work. So they destroyed the 13th moon. There used to be 13 moons, now there's 12. They destroyed one in order to make this cataclysm happen. It happened, and it severed forever the realm of dreams from Eberron, forever locking out those alien quarry who had come here, right? There's still remnants of them here in this inspired quarter where I am right now. We can see on the other continent, not Zendrik, but on the main continent, Corvair, there is a land or like a place known as Sarlona. And that's where these sort of, I'm not sure if they're in here or if they're in a different place, but these inspired, that's where they come from. And they're like the remnants of this. Yeah, here's an inspired right here. I have true seeing on my character, so I can see that thing that's on this dude's head. That's a quarry. Like, that's one of the quarry creatures. Like I told you, they're aliens. So they attach themselves to a host, and they basically like control the person's brain psionically. If I were to take my true seeing off, which I think it's on this item right here. No, that's not it. It's on one of my items. But if I were to take it off, let's see. Where is my true seeing? It looks like it's right there. Yeah, you see how he disappears once the effect of true seeing. So now I can no longer see, because basically what true seeing does is it gains the benefit. You gain the benefit of true seeing, which allows you to see things as they really are. So without that, he just looks like a normal dude, right? Like just some dude who's giving an inspired speech. But the minute you imbue yourself with true seeing, you can see that he's really under the influence of this alien. Like, and they are no joke, these quarry. So even though the quarry were the realm of dreams was severed, and they keep trying to build pathways to not only for these that are stuck here to get back, but also for more of them to come here. So in Eberron, that's a pretty big part of the lore that we deal with, because it was the giants who managed to defeat the quarry. And as a result, their entire civilization was destroyed, which is this island of Zendrik that we're on. The only reason, so part of the cataclysm left behind all these curses. One of the curses is the curse. I forget what the actual name of it is. It's like the curse of the wayward or the curse of the lost or something like that. But it basically means that you can never plot a map on this island. So no matter where you go, you will not be able to like mark it on a map. And so if you want to travel to this mountain here, let's say, it might take you a day, it might take you a month. And once you got there, you wouldn't know how long it took you because of the curse. So what happens is people who come to the island and go inland and like look around trying to find treasure and explore and through all the giant ruins, because they're filled with all sorts of magical artifacts and stuff, they get lost and they're never heard from again because they end up wandering around and they eventually just die out in the woods. The only reason that we're able to, it's one of the reasons why if you play this game, you cannot actually just get on a horse and ride somewhere. Like you have to be teleported, because the only magic that bypasses the curse are the gatekeeper's magic, and then these certain artifacts, this beacon right here that's circling around being one of them, that protects the entire city from the curse, which they call it the madness. There's a bunch of different curses. One of the curses is called the madness of crowds. And what happens is if that beacon were to disappear and everybody would be influenced by the cataclysm curse, it would just cause everybody to start fighting each other. Like everybody would just get super enraged at each other, and everybody would murder everybody. And that's exactly what happens if you do the quest series, Night Falls on Stormreach. There's a group that steals that beacon, and then all of a sudden the madness of crowds takes everyone, and everybody starts flipping out and like dying basically. And so you have to get the beacon back to save everyone. But how we started talking about this is Fred helps you do that. Like Fred uses his psionic abilities to help you do that. But so that's one of the things too, like when we go from different parts of the city, like I was on the coast, now I'm in the main area here. If we were to look at a map of the city, it seems like these enclaves are like literally right next to each other, because all we have to do is sort of go through a gate. But what happens on our screen is not exactly what happens in the game. Like a lot of the time that we transfer between different areas, we're being teleported by magic that protects us from the various curses. So if you were to explore, you need to keep that in mind. And there are a lot of quests that deal with this sort of thing. So if we were to go, the biggest group that sort of deals with navigating around the island curse are the gatekeepers. And the gatekeepers are over here in the gatekeepers grove. I ride around on my gigantic dragon. I think they did a great job with this, by the way. If you play Baldur's Gate 3 and you look at Laziel or any of the other Githyanki warrior armor, it looks exactly like this. So they did a really good job at making this Astral Coffer Githyanki themed. Like they did great. I read somebody on the forum was like, oh, I don't like it. It doesn't look accurate. And I'm like, dude, it looks really accurate. These people here, the gatekeepers, they are half orcs, although I don't know what they're going to call them from now on. A unique species, I guess, of orc. But their magic is all based around like druidic magic, based around protecting the world from various outside threats. And so as a result, they've learned how to like portal around. So whenever we get teleported or transferred, usually it's a gatekeeper who's doing it for us. It's why there's so many of them. and why we interact with them so much when we quest, because generally they're always involved. Especially this, a lot of our storylines are involved looking for codex pages that were ripped out of this Book of the Netheries. It's one of the things that the Demon Queen was looking for. Like, she wanted the... Not only did she come here looking for the pages, but she wanted the dragon shards that are unique to Eberron, this particular world. So she had her Lords of Dust collect all of the dragon shards that they could. So a lot of these quests reference a bunch of this stuff. When I go to Sharn, on my Sharn Pass, when I teleport to the Clifftop Tower, I'm leaving Zendrik and I'm going to Corvair, which is a completely different continent. It would be like going from China to Australia, basically. Like a completely different continent. So this is the continent of Corvair. This is Sharn, the biggest city. It's kind of like New York. It's where all of the stuff happens. It's controlled by a bunch of families that are set up kind of like corporations, I guess you could say. And they basically run everything. Another good analogy instead of corporation would be like crime families or something like that. And you know, there's they call themselves houses, like House Cannith, House Jurasco, House Friarlan, but there are also, like, you know, what would be considered like criminal gangs and things like that. But this is where mostly everything happens on the Isle of Corvair, and it's such a gigantic continent with so much going on. I'm surprised they haven't put more here. But it is different in the sense that you can ride from city to city and not be lost like you would on Zendrik. Zendrik is a very special circumstance. What you do off that is none of my business. He sounds quite nervous. So the creator of Eberron wanted it to be like Lord of the Rings. This is how he described it. Lord of the Rings meets Indiana Jones meets the Maltese Falcon. He liked the idea of like film noir intrigue where people were like sort of living double lives in the shadows. Maybe they were something happened in the last war and they're trying to escape that, their past somehow, or it's a lot of mystery. And obviously set in the high fantasy that we get in the Forgotten Realms is really similar to Lord of the Rings. And then Indiana Jones, that first opening scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark where Indy is, you know, in that, exploring that crypt and looking for that relic. Like, that's basically the idea of this entire island. And that jives, that's very similar. You know, when I was doing research on Myth Draenor is extremely similar to the lore of Zendrik. And while Zendrik doesn't have a mythal, which basically is like a living magical entity, it does have this, you know, this curse and the quarry. It's really interesting. I think if I were doing content and writing, though, because even though Eberron is filled with great ideas, it just never picked up in popularity. Just people don't really care about it. They don't want it. But what they want is Forgotten Realms. So I think it would be much better to sort of focus content in Myth Draenor than doing it in Zendrik, even though they would be very similar. So that's what when I voted, they gave us the ability to vote on what the new content should be. I voted for Myth Draenor, like, so I'm really happy that that's where they're going next. As much as I like Eberron, I just don't think it's sustainable. I don't think anybody cares. Like, people aren't going to come to play a game in Eberron, but they would come to play a game based in the Forgotten Realms. Alright, we're looking for a book. Sarlona, right, okay, so... yeah, Firefly. Sarlona is the name of an area on Corvair, or it may even be a separate continent. I haven't looked at a map of Eberron in a while. It's either part of the continent of Corvair, it's a separate continent all of itself. It might just be the continent of Sarlona. It's where the Inspired live, where the remnants of this quarry army are. These Inspired people, they're kind of like humanoids that have been taken over, and they live, like, they cohabitate with these quarry spirits. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them are... but to answer your question specifically, they used that name, Sarlona, as the name of the server that I play on. So whenever we talk about, like, servers where I'm playing content when I'm not on hardcore, right, because hardcore is like my main server where I run my guild, the character that I made when the game launched after beta, you know, when they closed beta testing, the first server that I came to, and I believe it's because the beta server was named Sarlona, I'm like, oh, I'm just going to continue playing where I was playing. I did the same thing in Lord of the Rings Online. I was beta testing on Brandywine, so when they opened the game up live, I just made my character on the Brandywine server, so, and I'm still there. I just made my character on Sarlona because that's what I knew. Is it the best? No, I mean, probably not. Now I think there's a lot bigger than Sarlona now. Argo is bigger. I think Cannith is bigger. I don't know which is the default server now. We could look that up if we really wanted to. But anyway, the point is, to answer the question directly, I talk about Sarlona now only because that's the server that I'm playing on. So, and it just so happens that there are a few other content creators like Voodoo who also play on Sarlona. And that's just coincidental. It's not like, you know, I didn't know Voodoo before that. Like, I just found out that we were on the same server. Argo has a lot of people who play. I think there's a few of the content creators who are on Argo. Right? I think Strim Tom's on Argo. I think Deathy might be on Argo. I might be wrong. I think Arcaniverse is on Argo, I think. I'm not sure about everybody else, though. I mean, I don't have a master list of who plays where, right? Like, I just conversationally can mention. I'm probably wrong about a couple of them, too. I know a lot of people play on Thelanis. Like, I think Axel plays on Thelanis, I think. Might be wrong about that. I think we have a few people on Galanda. Like, a few content creators from Galanda. It's basically every server has like a content creator on it, with the exception, I think, of Wayfinder. But Wayfinder is like the smallest server. I think really there's only like 20 people who play on Wayfinder. It's super, super small. I have a dice tune that I log in over there every once in a while, but there's usually nobody there. So if they did merge servers, I think it would make sense for them to merge Wayfinder into one of the other servers, but my hope is that they enable some sort of master server system where they don't delete the existing servers, but they just make sort of like a buffer server that allows us to play quests on the buffer server. So like my character here can stay with my guild ship on this server, but when I queue up in the group finder, you know, if I like queued up in this group finder and then join this group, it would actually warp me to like the buffer server where it would merge everyone. It's kind of, World of Warcraft has been doing this for a while. It would just require SSG to implement the tech in order to do it, which would probably mean that they would have to spend a bunch of money, and whether or not they were set up. I think it would be really good for the game though, because it would mean that if you wanted to do a group, you'd probably fill it instantly, because that's one of the great things about hardcore. There's so many people, there's stuff to do all the time. It just feels like a different game. Then, you know, some of the live servers can seem really slow, and one of the reasons that a lot of people play alone is because some of the servers are just not that populated, right? So, but it would take an infusion of money, and who knows, with things being the way they are priced out in 2024, if that would ever happen, just because everything is so freaking expensive now. So this is probably the worst quest in the game, like mob-wise. These technicians are super, super annoying. They do an attack that can knock you down. This tactical detonation. If you fail your saving throw. I don't have knockdown immunity, so we'll see if I get knocked down and killed. It could happen. Hopefully not. It makes it super dangerous to do this on hardcore too. You have to be really careful and take your time. And watch, there's gonna be 80 gazillion mobs that come out too. So here we go. And these things have a lot of hit points, so like I'm not killing these things quickly. Maybe if I can PK a couple of them, that would be good, but alright, that was good. If I can CC this dude, no, he saved. Okay, that was good. Okay. Yes, thank you for the follow. I mean, look at that. That shadow mark dude hit me with something, and now I have a dot on me. But we got rid of him. Luckily, the burst damage is so good that sometimes I just erase these things, but it takes a while. But the trip is working. I'm gonna try to roar on this dude here. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna stay out of combat for a second and try to heal.
Whatever documents were stored in the office are beyond salvaging. Still, there might be something useful down in the lab, or wherever those mercenaries went.
Alright, now I have to go down. It's just gonna be a disaster. Like, look at all these mobs. Alright, there's a roar. Try to make our way through these. So we don't want these. We don't want anything to get behind us. That's the first thing. I want to try to keep it all CC'd. And gonna color spray, even though I can't color spray the droids or whatever they are, the golems. Okay, here come a whole bunch more. I'm gonna color spray. I'm gonna go into the back here, try to get rid of these. They're the most dangerous, so. Okay, that was lucky. That was good. Okay, let's color spray. The one explosion that knocks me down and I could be dead, right? It looks like we got rid of all of the casters, so that's great. It's really interesting to me how many mobs. The mob density in this quest is a lot different. There's just so many monsters. It's super annoying.
Victor mashes the button on the magical device in frustration. Nothing happens.
Okay, so we cleared that out. We didn't die. Now we have to drop down and kind of do it again. Okay, he's not going to talk to us anymore. Alright, so I have to pull that lever. Forgot. So the thing about this fight here, we're gonna trance and should probably use my spell absorb just because. They have like 2,000 some odd hit points, so if I don't get a crit, it's gonna be a lot of hits to kill it. And these Forge Wraiths are okay if they're not champions, but if we get a champion with a damage boost, then it would be super scary.
A familiar voice calls out up ahead. Time's up.
So I'm gonna try to knock down this dude right here. Okay. So the whole idea is if I can kill him quickly, he won't be able to loose his Forge Wraith on us. One of them did get out, the one in that other room there. I'm going to ignore the purple name to my left and just try to focus on getting rid of the stuff that's actually doing a lot of damage to me. This thing's got to go, this reconstructor, because it will heal the others. Okay, now these got to go because they are shooting me. Likely I should do a second wind. Yeah, there we go. Okay, there's one. Okay, there's two. Let's do this one here. Okay, there's three. This is a bunch of lag. I don't think I can trip him because he's a boss, but we can do our Sunder Burst. Okay, that's great. It's all junk loot, but Gonna get rid of this cannon in the hall here. And then we'll deal with the individual rooms. The little reconstructors are super annoying. Okay. And we're getting XP, so we're just gonna break everything. Alright, I'm gonna try to trip one of the golems here, this dude. Yeah, that way he cannot loose his... This one got his out, but that's okay. Forge Wraith is the most dangerous thing, so we're gonna kill that first. Okay, followed by these reconstructors, because they're gonna heal the golem. Okay, now we can just take care of the golem. It's got a lot of damage reduction, so they're super annoying. Alright, we can trip one more. I think he's in the on the left. Yeah, this dude. Alright, that should take care of him. Yeah, that's bullshit. There's no fucking way he got up to do that. That's so stupid. There's a lot of lag, so... Alright, so that's that. So I can use the shrine to refresh my... Oh, there's a Reaper. Hello, Mr. Reaper. How are you? Good? Okay, good. So I want to refresh my action boosts, basically. We have to do the long run up the stairs. It's exceedingly dangerous, so... Again, if you were on hardcore, you'd want to be really careful. Go really slow here. Alright, I roared to stop this named right here. Okay. Yeah, I've got to kill these reconstructors. They're just so annoying because they're healing everything. Like, they're cross-healing each other. Oh, we've got some text, so I have to use my color spray and try to get rid of these. I've been lucky so far. I have made all the saving throws versus the tactical detonations. I didn't get knocked down by one. But it is super easy too. I just got stunned by something. Yeah, there's the first knockdown. You can see it's not like you're only knocked down for a second. You're on the ground for like at least 3 seconds. And in combat, that's a long time. Okay, I probably won't be able to like fully heal because I think I'm still in combat. Yeah, but it's okay. It's gonna heal a little. Right? Mob density. There's just so many monsters. Look at them all. Like, I just don't... Not a lot of quests are this dense with monsters. It's just so weird. It's one of the reasons I've never liked doing this quest. Like, I usually try to skip it on hardcore if I can. Season 2, this walk up was so laggy. So many people died. If you get a champ, like, look, we just got a Reaper. If you got a champion, Forge Wraith, they can just kill you before you even see them on the screen. I'm taking a ton of damage. Oh, look, there's another one. See, I didn't see him. Luckily, he wasn't a champion. Alright, so what I want to do is try to heal myself up before I go all the way up there. Something may still have aggro on me, so... Oh, no. Looks like I don't have aggro on anything right now. It's good. We have almost 1,200 hit points, so... Alright, we should have like 4 or 5 more of these, and then we're done. They're super annoying because they spray fire. Oh, there is a champ right there. So, I'm gonna try to get rid of the Famine Reaper. Okay, Famine Reaper's gone. Let me try to get rid of this champion next. Okay, you can see it's just all fire. Tons of fire damage. What do I have for baseline fire damage? 26. So, pretty good. You have like 20 to 30 for doing these. They went through all of my charges on my Pale Lavender.
Where are you going? Hunting for gold that is flowing. Somewhere in the cold world, here there is no knowing. Hey la, oh la la la. We love if there's a standing stone. Let's make camp. We love games. Let's make camp and play more games. Hey la, oh la la, we love games. Let's stand in stone, let's make camp. We love games. Let's make camp and play more games. Hey la, oh la la, we love games. Where are you going? There's no knowing what magic awaits, what evil is growing. Hey la, oh la la, we love games. There's a standing stone, let's make camp. We love games. Oh la la, hunting no crips is folly. Just play games and be jolly. Magical treasures hide in the dark, so rest in it and embark. We love games. There's a standing stone, let's make camp. We love games. Let's make camp and play more games. There's a standing stone, let's make camp. We love games. Let's make camp and play more games. Hey la, oh la la, we love games. Hey la, Mary la, oh la 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 la, oh la la, la 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 la. La 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 la, hey la, oh la la